What's going on, crypto sports fans? This is Clay Albright with EOSUSA. EOSUSA is a block producer for several EOSIO chains, applications, projects. We track the news and provide updates for our partners, as well as what's happening here at EOSUSA. First, what do you know about EOSIO? Did you know that EOSIO is not a blockchain, but rather designed to build blockchains? In fact, there's dozens of EOSIO blockchains out there right now, some public, similar to EOS, some private. For example, Wax. Did you know that EOSIO is open source? It's free. Similar to Linux, if you think about Linux back in the old days, the Linux operating system was open source and free, and because of that, it grew tremendously. In fact, it grew into Android. And many other applications that you use today. Did you know that Block One, the company that created EOSIO, is backed by over $1 billion in capital? And did you know they put up hundreds of millions of those dollars into joint partnerships with venture capital firms to develop software for the EOS blockchain? For example, voice.com. Gotta check that out. Yesterday, I got a phone call from a friend of mine that I hadn't spoken to in several years. His name is Lance, and he lives out in Dallas, Texas. And I was thrilled to hear from him. He had a question about cryptocurrency. He knew I was involved. He has some cash that he is wanting to invest, not necessarily to make money, but just so he doesn't lose it. He's put some in gold, and he wants to put some into cryptos. So he called me for advice. And this is what I told him. Bitcoin is by far the best cryptocurrency investment. I don't mean this from a standpoint of future profits, but from a stability standpoint, it is the leader of the pack. If Bitcoin makes it, they all somewhat make it. I always suggest buying Bitcoin if the entire market moves depending on what Bitcoin does. But most importantly, Bitcoin's been out there for 11 plus years. It's never been hacked. You can hack somebody's computer and steal their Bitcoins, but you can't hack Bitcoin. Hasn't been done yet. 11 years of existence. It's solid as a rock. It's a little bit of a dinosaur from a technology standpoint already, but get this. It's got more liquidity than any other coin, meaning it's simply easier to move money in and out of Bitcoin than any other coin. And with bulk dollars. And, one of the things Lance told me, he's in the investing world, and he said hedge funds are already buying Bitcoin. And that's a big deal. They're not buying some of the smaller coins yet, right? They're buying Bitcoin because it was the leader. It's proven itself, and it has a ton of liquidity. So they're not going to rock the market when they jump in with their millions and millions of dollars. So Bitcoin was the first thing off the top of the list that I shared with him, and then immediately, of course, being a little biased, I jump into the EOSIO chains, and I sent him to blocktivity.info. If you guys haven't checked that site out, it's a great site to go to. It's the best way to see who's doing what transactions on the chains and who's doing the most. Again, blocktivity.info. And when you scroll down, you'll see a list of all of the chains. And this is a list in order of their activity. So if you look right here, you'll see you've got EOS as the number one on the list. Now, EOSIO is a software protocol. It does not itself build chain or is not itself a blockchain. However, it is used to build blockchains. And that's something that I wanted to point out to you here is that if you look at this list, before we even get started, look at number 1 and 2, EOS and Telos. Those are both EOSIO chains, okay? Now let's scroll down a little bit further and you'll see a couple more. Here's WaxP. That's the Wax chain that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. That's also on the EOSIO software, and just the other day, I'm not sure if it's still on here, but just the other day I saw Instar, and they had popped up. Here's Meet One. There we are. Meet One, that's a EOSIO chain. Instar is an EOSIO chain. BIOS is an EOSIO chain, and I might have missed another two. Boz was an EOSIO chain. What I'm getting at is look at all the EOSIO chains that are crushing the transactions. When you look at Bitcoin's down here at number 10 and Ethereum at number 8, but 800,000 and 1 million transactions versus EOS at 80 million transactions. That's a huge difference. So what I pointed out to Lance is that Bitcoin, because it's been in the world for a long time and it's had a ton of liquidity, and that's who everybody's really identified with so far. That's what most people on the news have heard about Bitcoin. But when it comes to the technology, EOS.io is far superior than any other technology out there. And here's the point. EOS itself, let's just say, has the capability of doing 5,000 transactions. I was using a number, 5,000 transactions a second. That means Telos, because it's also on the same platform, could also do 5,000 transactions a second. And also, so could Instar and Boz and BIOS, okay? So, and Wax. Well, Block One created EOS.io. That's the platform underneath all those chains. Well, if Block One is able to increase the capacity of the EOS.io protocol to, let's say, 10,000 transactions per second, well, then every single one of those chains benefits from that increase. And that puts, if you really want to put it there, that puts EOS.io way, way ahead of the competition, because all those chains as well can communicate with each other, almost making it one large blockchain. And that is phenomenal when you think about how many transactions that is. So, I mean, granted, today are dozens of chains, and a lot of them are private right now. Not as many of the public chains, and that seems to be popular. So if a lot of these private corporations begin to launch their own EOS.io chain, well, you can see where we may have hundreds of thousands of EOS.io chains one day, all communicating together, potentially doing millions and millions of transactions per second. So I pointed him to this chart. Obviously, not everybody's going to be successful, but when you're sitting on the best technology in the world, you got a heck of a leg up. So that was the conversation I had with my buddy Lance yesterday. Big shout out to you, Lance. Good luck to you. I know we talked about Coinbase as an avenue to buy the Bitcoin and the EOS. If you guys have suggestions for a better place to buy Bitcoin or EOS, then by all means, leave it down here in the comments. Let Lance know, let myself know. Probably even do a video about that in the future. Also today, I wanted to make an announcement. As you know, I first announced, like 3 years ago now, that I wanted to be a block producer for EOS.
I, Clay Albright, am running for block producer.
And the chain itself was launched. We were not a BP yet, but we became a BP soon thereafter. Got a little bit of a late jump.
This is a decentralized launch, and they're in there talking and battling it out right now. It's a combination of getting the tech, understanding the technology, and and then being able to download it and implement it, and then do it in a decentralized fashion where everybody has to be on the same chain. So,
but we never, ever, ever gave up. And I'm talking specifically about EOS. In the process, in the last several years, what we've done is we've tried to become an integral part of these other chains. For example, Telos, Wax, Lynx, BIOS. There's Instar, FIO. Just so many different projects that we're involved with. But we never ever gave up on EOS, and I'm so pleased to announce that in the last couple of weeks, EOSUSA has moved into a paid standby position on the EOS blockchain. And I got to tell you, our whole team is so excited and so thankful, and there's many people that played a part in this, including Block One, with their contributions for their voting recently. But even without Block One's vote, we still remained in that standby position, and we are very thrilled and humbled and proud to say that we are a paid block producer on the EOS blockchain right now. So guys, thank you so much for everyone out there that has supported us as a team. We have really enjoyed being a part of this up and coming industry. So that's all we got for today. But you guys, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down there in the notes on some of the things that I've discussed today. Happily respond to those comments in future videos. And if you have any questions about what it is that EOS.io is or does, or EOSUSA, by all means, put those in the comments as well. Love to chit chat about this industry. It's my fave. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.